Hello world, Lisa Friedrichsen here, your friend and computer science professor with another short screencast from javascript.info, the modern JavaScript tutorial. And we are down to section 3, code quality, debugging in Chrome. And in this lesson, if you do it as written, he'll ask you to open an example page in Chrome. As soon as you click that link though, you get an alert and then you get the example page, but you don't see the lesson. So if you're on one computer screen like this, I would have you click in the address of the example page, Control-C to copy it, open another browser, Control-V to paste it, and go to that example page in another window, then go back to your original window and click the back button so that you can actually read the lesson. To put two Chrome browser windows side by side, first resize them by making them a smaller size, and then just drag one of the tabs out. That will create another window for you. And then, of course, it's just up to you to resize them to the position you want them to be. He talks about the developer tools, and we've been using them a lot if you've been following my screencasts. So you already know how to right-click and inspect in Chrome to open your developer tools. Notice that when you open them, I find that they're often docked on the right by default. So you might have to play around with that and dock them on the bottom or dock them on the right, depending upon what makes most sense to you and what you're trying to view on the web page. Also, get into the habit of resizing all these panes. The Elements tab tells us our HTML elements and our styles for whatever we've selected. This little selection arrow allows us to click something and examine it directly in the HTML as well as its styles. We can also even modify HTML and the styles. An example for debugging, I could say an example for debugging and learning, and we will see that change made temporarily in the website, no matter if you're changing the HTML or the CSS. Of course, as soon as we refresh the page, we get the original code again. So all the changes that we would make in the Elements tab to either the HTML or the CSS are all temporary. This little button here is a very interesting button because it toggles the web page into a mobile web page where we can see how it's going to respond or look in some various devices. I'm going to unclick that for the moment though. Two panes that we're going to use with JavaScript most of the time are the console tab, which we've been using extensively already to test out different little JavaScript statements or to see error messages or to put console logs that reveal the value of variables in our code. He starts out on the sources pane. The sources pane has three different areas, a tree to look at our files. If we open up a file, hello.js file, then I actually see the JavaScript code here in this pane. And this is where we can set breakpoints to examine the value of different variables at different points in this pane. It's a little bit faster than console logging out everything by adding that console log statements to your code. I'm going to just copy this little loop and paste it in as a statement into my console and run it and see what happens. And in this case, we're taking the string value and a comma, which is going to add then the value of the variable I for each instance of this loop. The loop is running from I to 0 through I is less than 5, so 4 and incrementing by 1, and that's the value we get. I like to use console logs in loops, see what's happening at each iteration of the loop. I'm going to press my up arrow key and show you how this looks if instead of a comma, I put a plus sign, which is going to concatenate the text. And when I press enter, notice that it just takes value and it concatenates it to whatever I is, and it becomes a string. And notice how those values are all black, look like strings. Whereas when I console logged out the string value, comma I, the I's are numbers and they console log out in blue. That's a subtle distinction, but I think it's valuable. Thank you.